How's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a part two to a video I did before about 5 things that you don't want to tell someone or say to someone with ME and CFS. There was a lot of comments on things I should have added and things that other people have heard a lot that upset them. So I figured I would do a part two because there are a lot of them. So I'm going to jump in no particular order. Number one, just work out more, get in shape, and you'll feel better. Telling people with ME to work out is a terrible idea. They've also been told that a million times, but graded exercise therapy, or GET, has been proven to harm people with ME and CFS. It's been proven over and over again that it can actually permanently disable people who work out too much or go into post-exertional malaise too often. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that because that's a video in and of itself. But telling people to work out with ME and CFS, I think, is a bad idea. They're not sick because they're out of shape or deconditioned. These things are myths from like the 80s and early 90s. I think it's time to move on past that. And if you're telling that to someone with ME and CFS, even if they don't say anything, you're upsetting them, guaranteed, because they should not do that, and many of them cannot do that even if they wanted. So that's one thing, just to know if you love and know someone with ME and CFS. So number two, and this one, this one's might sound crazy, might sound silly, but it happens way more than I wish it did. But I talk to a lot of people, a lot of women especially, that hear this. And it is, find yourself a boyfriend, find yourself a spouse, find yourself a partner. Now, obviously, men hear this as well, but I think the women kind of get the brunt of this ridiculous statement. You just need to find yourself a man, you just find yourself a spouse, a partner, and you'll feel way better. Now, I think it's important that we all have a supportive spouse and partner. That is very helpful, of course, in life in general, and if you're sick. But a lot of people kind of allude to women just kind of being, and again, this happens mostly to women, and that's why I'm referring to women. Unfortunately, it happens more to them. Alluding that finding a man will make them not be fussy about not feeling well, or over exaggerating, or being emotional, or seeking attention, and all the ridiculous things that women have had to kind of deal with for many, many years. I think it's an outlandish thing to say. I'm surprised it happens as often as it does, but I do talk to a lot of people with ME and CFS, and a lot of women have told many, many stories of how family members have alluded to, them not feeling well, and all they need to do to feel better is to find, a partner. It's absurd. So I'm going to move on to the next one. But yeah, lay off from that one. Number three, you just need to eat better. Change your diet up, and you will feel better. Now, diet is very important, I think, in any aspect of life, and especially with ME, you have to have a strict diet. It can make you feel a little bit better. But the people alluding to you just need to eat better, lose a little bit of weight, and then this whole ME thing will go away. Bad idea. That's not going to cure ME. People have tried the paleo diets, intermittent fasting, low carb. They've tried everything, and people do find some relief, and some people do feel a little bit better. So it's not a terrible thing to suggest. It's just when people are suggesting that that's what's going to cure ME, I think that definitely upsets people with ME, because most people with ME have tried everything already, because there aren't a lot of resources, especially depending on where you live. There isn't a lot of help and a lot of great doctors. So people try it. One of the first things that they try are diet and changing, lifestyle type things. And they're tired of hearing that from people that are not dietitians or doctors. So that's one thing that I would also not say to someone with ME or CFS. The next one might be a controversial one here because it sounds somewhat empathetic and helpful, but hear me out. And that is, oh, I know how you feel. I get that all the time too. Now, I understand that some family members or friends might be trying to relate, might trying to make people not feel alone. But this does, whether this is right or wrong, this does upset people with ME a lot, because the symptoms and the things that people are dealing with ME, like severe fatigue and brain fog, and the many symptoms, which I can link to, of ME and CFS, they've destroyed people's lives. They've destroyed people's careers. They've destroyed marriages, friendships. Some people have lost touch with their children because the children don't understand why mom or dad can't make it to this or make it to that. So when someone says, I can relate to being tired, I understand it might be coming from a good place. But when people with ME have basically lost everything, they're mourning their previous life, if that makes sense. They're mourning who they used to be. I think it triggers people and they get really upset and they're like, there's no way you know how I feel. Even though most of the time I think it's great to try to empathize and relate to people, I think that's usually a great thing to do. But in this case, in this instance, I think it's something that I would not often say to people with ME and CFS. And let me know in the comments what other people with ME feel about this, because this is a tricky one, because I am a fan of trying to relate to people and to kind of make people feel better and not feel alone and isolated. And most people are probably trying to do that. So it's hard to kind of say, don't do that. But this is a kind of a touchy one. So let me know in the comments what you think. Number 5, hey, just push through. It's Christmas. Push through. It's Thanksgiving. Push through. It's my birthday. And you need to, show up and help me decorate and all these things. This is a tough one. Family members also are dealing with someone with ME and are frustrated with not having that person be able to do the things they used to do. But pushing through this illness is harmful. It's not like having another illness where you push through it and you get better, tough it out. Like I've mentioned, graded exercise therapy and pushing through is actually very harmful for people with ME, especially if they're in a flare. And if not, it will almost certainly cause a flare. So kind of encouraging people to get on with it, push through, do whatever they need to do to get through the day. You need to help me cook. You need to do this. I'm alone in this relationship, so you need to help me more. Unfortunately, that's not something you can really expect from people with ME and CFS all the time. There's different severity levels. I understand that. There are people that are completely bedridden. There are people that are very mild. So I understand people can do a lot of things, and you should up until your point of going into a crash. Don't cross that line. But I think that's something that will upset people with ME to tell them to push through. They're pushing as hard as they can. Their 100% might not be the same as your 100%. And coming from someone who's always, been someone to push through, try to overachieve, a bit of a type A personality, I understand that people are saying, hey, push through, get it done, just excuses later, finish this. But this is someone's health. And I've had to kind of recalibrate how I think myself. You can't push through when this illness is flaring up, when you're not feeling well. You have to listen to your body, or else it's going to just make things way, way worse for some people permanently. So those are just 5 things that I think you should think twice about before saying to people with ME and CFS. I think they can be harmful, even if they are coming from a place of trying to relate, trying to understand, and even if you're trying to help. Because I don't think most people are trying to be jerks. I think most people, when they say these things, they're trying to relate, they're trying to uplift, they're trying to be like, hey, push through it, you can do it. And even though that is a encouraging sign that you have family members doing that, it can come off as harmful. It can upset people that are sick. So, these are 5 things that hopefully family members can learn and kind of try to word differently and be a little bit more understanding of those that have been suffering from a chronic illness that has stolen their careers, lives, social lives, and people are suffering through on a day-to-day basis. So I hope everyone had a great holiday, and I hope everyone has a happy new year. Until next time, take care.